came from Aligarh. I studied there. I was in the hostel, and then I became president of the Women's Union. I joined the riding club, and the riding club, actually the horses took us to places where the car can't go. And I saw such horrible poverty. I passed by a village where a 1.5-year-old child was drinking water from a sewage tank. It was like somebody hit me in the stomach. I came home and I was sick. So then I started going to the slums and finding out kya karna. And ultimately I came to the conclusion that education is the only way that you can improve these. But then education was very expensive. So what can you do? So free education for all. This was my slogan. And I started a new charitable society which to give the children from the slums and below poverty line children free education. And that's how this, I started with 40 kids under a tree in Qila, which is part of Aligarh University, and today I have 4,500 kids. When this happened, when I saw the video of the mother lying there, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't sleep that night, because I know I've worked with these kids. What happens to them? What goes into their mind? That child, the way he was taking the dupatta of the mother. There was so much of, he was hungry and he wanted to have something to eat. And the mother was lying listless without moving. And he couldn't believe it that mother can, if a child says something, the mother gets up. It's automatic, this thing. मुझे उसमें उसके खींचने में मुझे इतनी तकलीफ हो रही थी. But then I thought हमारे पास इतना पैसा नहीं है, हम इन बच्चों को भी लेंगे तो हमारे लिए तो बहुत. Then we heard that शाहरुख खान है, तो फिर मैंने कहा भाई वो तो बहुत अच्छी तरह रखेंगे, हमसे कहीं ज़्यादा अच्छी तरह रखेंगे, तो ठीक है, बच्चे सही जगह पहुंच जाएंगे. But 4 months passed and nothing happened. Lot of people came up, lot of names came up, but no proper this thing. But then there was an AMU Old Boys Association in Qatar, where the child is from. They knew that I wanted to take these kids, but I kept quiet because of Shahrukh Khan and other. So he got in touch with me and he said, कोई कुछ नहीं कर रहा है इन बच्चों के, आप कुछ. हमने कहा हाँ, हमें बिल्कुल चाहिए. So I sent the 2 teachers to the village, and there the poverty was. I have worked for 22 years in the slums, and I have seen a lot of poverty, but that was so heart-rending. We've got the older child who is 4.5. The younger one is with the mother and grandmother. The grandmother is a little younger than the grandfather. Grandfather is very old. The grandmother breaks stones, and between the two of them, they hardly make it to to 2 meals. So we are giving them 10,000 rupees as a scholarship to the child, because the child already belongs to us. So because the child is there, we have decided to give him, and we have told them that whatever the child needs, let us know, because we'll provide it. The 4.5-year-old Arman who has come is such a amazing child. He is so interested in new things. These people who get so much trauma also have an innate power to forget it. This boy has put it all behind him. He's very happy with his uniform, with his copybooks, with his course books, and he's settled down very well with his children of his age. These 2 kids have been adopted by somebody in Hong Kong who says that he will look after their entire education. But entire education we are going to look after also, but he is going to give us the money. So we can, it's not a burden on us. In our orphanage, we have children from whose parents, whose fathers have been lynched. We have 8 such children, and we have scheduled caste child from 2 children from Banaras, where their parents were dragged and killed. We have to have a therapist in the campus, because their trauma. And one of the child whose father was lynched, he used to sleep with him, and for months together he would get up and Abu, 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 and then he would urinate, because when in the beginning also he couldn't control himself, and slowly and gradually now he has established, he's doing very well in martial arts. Where is humanity? Humanity is much higher than any religion. What are we talking about? What are we saying? What are we giving out to our next generation? This is humanity? That the children are dying of hunger, and there's no food there. If you were to see the Arman and Rahman, ये तो तब भी बहुत बेहतर है, because probably they were in Bombay for that. But the children from there is, I think, you have to see it to be able. When I talk about it, I start going cold, because it's not the only place in India. There are millions of places like that. I don't know. Actually, the father was. They all do that. He used to play satta, and he used to drink. And the mother used to go and do all the hard work, and whatever the mother would get, the father would take it away, and he would. And when the 2 kids were born, he left the house, and he went and lived with some other woman. The lady, his brother and sister were going to Bombay to work, so she went with them, and she was coming back in the train, and they did not have anything to eat or drink for 4 days. The train would stop at any point. There was no this thing कि ऐसी जगह ठहरे जहाँ लोग खाना खा सकें, पानी पी सकें, कुछ ऐसा नहीं था. जंगल में रोक दिया, कहीं रोक दिया. So for 4 days, and she was feeding the child. अरमान का छोटा भाई था, and naturally she was terribly dehydrated, hadn't had anything to eat, and plus feeding the child. She died on the. She was alive half an hour before they reached the station, and they said Ara station, but I don't think she believed, because it must have been. And she came out of the train and collapsed there, because where she's lying, either the train is just standing there, and she just came out and collapsed. It's a very tragic story. But it's a story which is thousands of children, thousands of women are going through it now, even today.
द वायर के और वीडियोस देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन पर क्लिक करें। स्वतंत्र पत्रकारिता की आर्थिक मदद करने के लिए डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए लिंक पर जाएं और अपनी राशि चुनें।